What's going on, my fellow Guardians? Your dude Sly here, back at it with another Destiny 2 Vow of the Disciple raid guide. In this video, we're going to be diving into the second encounter within the raid, the Caretaker, also called the Collection Encounter. Now, on day 1, this encounter was indeed a DPS checkpoint. If you could not pass this boss, then you had absolutely no hope of defeating the final boss. But with contest mode no longer applied, it has become quite the easy feat, and you really do not need anything special to complete it, just knowledge of the mechanics. So what we're going to do, guys, is first dive into subclasses and weapons to use, layout of the map, and then we'll put everything together, set it all into motion, going over each mechanic. Now, as a quick disclaimer, this guide was created within the first weeks of the raid going live, so it is a very early guide. Strategies, placements, and other things might and probably will change over the course of time. However, one thing that will not change are the mechanics, and that's what this guide is here to show you. So enough talk, let's get this bad boy underway. So starting off with subclasses, you have a couple of choices here. You're either going to want burst damage supers like Nova Bomb or Golden Gun or Tether, or you want to use support subclasses like Well and Titan Bubble. Hunters, I would always use either Tether or Golden Gun with Nighthawk, and Titans, you're pretty much stuck using Bubble on this one due to the mechanics at play. Warlock, Well, or Nova, that is absolutely your choice. For weapons, you can go a few different routes here as well. You can go the path with Linear Fusions and Divinity, or use Gallahorn along with other high blast radius rocket launchers. Frenzy or Vorpal along with Boss Spec is always a good idea, and do not underestimate the usually crappy perk Field Prep on rocket launchers. Both of these will give you the desired effect of beating the boss, and both can be used to clear ads in a pinch, so the choice is absolutely yours and whatever your team seems to favor. As for primary and secondary weapons, it all depends if you're using an exotic heavy or not, but Wither Horde works well for ad control, and as backup, I love my Funnel Web SMG with Subsistence and Frenzy, but you can also go primary SMG and Salvage or Salvo, or even use a fusion rifle like Null Composure or Cartesian Coordinate. Both of these are good choices, and what I used on day 1. You'll be doing damage at close ranges here, so be careful on your selection of grenade launchers and rocket launchers. Alright y'all, so with subclasses and weapons out of the way, let's talk about the map itself. The Caretaker fight is a pretty vertical experience. You have 3 levels throughout the fight. Each level is a damage phase, with the top level being a damage phase and a final stand combo. Now on each level, there will be 1 obelisk and a room of darkness. The pyramid shards located by the walls and the doors are used much in the same way as the very first encounter. They simply open and close doors. The boss starts out on the central platform and then slowly works his way towards the obelisk. If he gets close enough, he does this kind of like, light up fist King Kong slam, and it's a team wipe. The idea here is that you have to stun the boss and keep it occupied so the rest of your team can submit 3 offerings to the obelisk. Once you do, it'll be time for damage, and you do that over 3 levels. Now, around the obelisk, notice the 3 plates. If you've been playing Destiny long enough and can remember the Emperor Callus fight in the Leviathan raid, these plates work the exact same way. Timer starts once the first foot steps on it or over top of it. You do your damage, the plate runs out, then you run as a team to the next plate. Now, on day 1, it was best to count down stepping on the plate as a team because you needed every single bullet to count, just like in the old Callus days. But now, on normal mode, you don't need to be quite that in sync. Just be sure that you are applying your buffs and debuffs and that you stay on the plate the entire time. These plates are pretty small and it's pretty crowded, so usually people move left or right in order to not kill themselves by shooting the back of someone's head with a rocket launcher, and in doing so, they step off the plate just slightly and get immune instead of damage. So what do? They call out to switch plates because they think the plate has ran out, not that they stepped off the side. This will cost you a lot of damage in the long run if you continue to do this on every level. So if you are still seeing numbers, stay on that plate for as long as you can to do damage. If someone's calling out to switch, but yet you're still seeing damage numbers, make sure you belay that order, tell everyone to make sure they are inside the circle. Alright, so the final piece of the puzzle, the darkness rooms and how to get your offerings and then to do damage. Once again, that list of a million new symbols will come into play here as well, so make sure you know them. Now you're going to split your team into 2 boss stunners, 3 symbol runners, and 1 person will stay in the middle by the obelisk just to help clean up ads. At the very beginning, you're going to have 1 person on the left side, 1 person on the right side, 2 in the middle by the obelisk, and then 2 next to the boss on the central platform. So the 3 runners will rotate one by one and help each other out, switching from running to clearing ads. So once you're inside the darkness room, you will start to get pervasive darkness. Like the very first introduction encounter, it kills you once you get to times 10, so you do have limited time in these darkness rooms. Now there is a raid mod that can help you get extra mobility. It makes it so that you're jumping faster the more darkness stacks that you have, allowing you to get in and out faster. If you have that, I would definitely use it. So what you want to do, guys, is shoot the splinter to open the door. You will then run inside. There are going to be taken witches roaming about that can be a little ornery, so avoid them while running and picking up 3 symbols. Now the thing is that once you run over top of a symbol, you can no longer see it, so the runners need to memorize the 3 symbols that they run over top of. Once they have the 3rd and final symbol, make sure you don't pick up any more, call it out to open the doors, and then also call out your 3 symbols while going to the obelisk right outside the door. You're also going to exit from where you entered. Now here you can do 2 things. Either your teammates can shoot the symbols for you, or you can shoot the obelisk for yourself. But like the very first encounter, the obelisk is sometimes finicky, and it's best that 2 people shoot it so you can get the offering through faster. Hence the reason there is 1 person outside in the center always staying there. So once the first offering is complete, you will now switch jobs with the other runners, and now your job is to kill ads. So for instance, if you come out and you're first, you're going to switch with a person on the left. You're now going to take the left side ads, and that left side person will now become a runner. Basically, all you're doing here is switching jobs. You simply do that 3 times, and then it's damage time. Easy peasy. Alright, Guardians, now let's talk about the final boss mechanic, the last thing you'll need to know for this encounter, the boss's stun. Now, this is really easy here as well. 2 players will need to start off in the center once things get going, and you guys get the boss's aggro or attention. Once things are started off, you'll need to approach the boss and have him do his little AoE slam. When you get close, you'll see this thing called Caretaker's Gaze on the left-hand side of your screen. This will then light up his face after he does his little King Kong slam. What you want to do is shoot his face, and then that triggers his back to open up. The second player with you, who is behind the boss, will then shoot his back, and this ultimately stuns him. Now, stunning the boss does nothing but delay the inevitable, and give the symbol runners more time. That's all stunning does. It does damage him slightly, but we're talking about a drop in the bucket compared to the overall health pool. 1 player will always be in front of the boss, and the other player behind him no matter which way he goes. If he turns around, the player shooting his back now has to be the one to get the gaze and have him slam and then shoot his face. All you have to do, simply run in close and then run away. You'll get the feel for distance the more you do it. Alright, so now that we've been over everything that you need to know, let's put all of this together. So first, guys, you want to split up into your teams. 2 players on the stun team, 2 in the center, 1 on the left, and 1 on the right. Shoot the boss or the shards to start the encounter. Now, as soon as you shoot the shard, 1 door will open and 1 runner will enter the room and start collecting symbols. The rest are killing ads whenever they see them and stunning the boss as many times as possible. Again, I emphasize here to stun him as much as you can. Once all 3 symbols are collected, the runner will then call them out, and the person on the outside in the center by the obelisk will open the door for the runner by shooting the shard. Once both people are out, you will start to shoot the symbols that the first runner just collected. Once you've shot all the correct symbols and the offering is accepted, they will now switch spot with another runner on the left or the right, and then that person will now go inside. Now, on the left and right hand side of this map, waves of enemies will spill out, including those orange bar Abhorrent Scorn who shoot the obelisk and do damage to it. There will also be a Taken Vandal Sniper who is quite lethal in their precision. The players on ad duty will need to take those out first and foremost, so put a grenade or Wither Horde at the monster closet spawn location and then mop them up afterwards. All you have to do is keep killing ads and stunning the boss until all 3 runners have deposited 3 offerings. Once you do, throw up a bubble close to the plate, and then all the players are just going to chill inside there, but put up a bubble with caution. All you're doing is hanging in the bubble until the plates light up and it's time for damage. With the right fragments, Weapons of Light can last you 2 plates, so use that in combination with Void Grenades that give you increased weapon damage and also suppress the boss. If you have a Warlock Well for each plate, then that's absolutely great. If not, save it for the 3rd and final damage plate. If you're using rockets, be wary of shooting players in the head. Have the ones in front of you kneel down, and if you're using power rifts or healing rifts in between the well super, be careful of your positioning. Rifts and well supers make it tough to see the edges of the damage plate, and you could be standing off the plate and getting no damage at all when it says immune. And then you could call out, the wrong order to have everyone shift. So on the bottom left hand side of your screen, it will warn you when the plates are about to give out. You're going to want to use every last second of each plate. Do not leave one early. Now, if you're going the divinity route, do not tap divinity like usual. The way the boss walks around, the divinity bubble becomes obscured, really opaque, and hard to see. The damage cycles are short on each plate, giving you plenty of time to reload in between. So instead of pulsing like on the long duration damage phases, like in Deepstone Crypt, just hold it down so your team will see a clear divinity bubble. So once you make your way through all 3 plates, you will have depleted 1/3 of the boss's health. Otherwise, you will be behind in damage. Now, if you've done enough damage, stairs will drop down from the level above you, allowing you to ascend to the next level, where it pretty much begins all over again. The only differences between levels are this. Number 1, the floor layout is a bit different, as are enemy spawns, but they are indeed very similar. And number 2, the darkness room or symbol room. The first level has 1 door. The second level has 2 entry doors, and the third level has 3 entry doors. While most of the doors lead to the same room, the layout inside this room varies from side to side. And again, you don't have a lot of time here. Don't grab one symbol from the far left and then go all the way to the right hand side of the room and grab another symbol. You don't want to cut time short and screw your teammates over by having them run all over the room collecting the last symbols. Try to grab them as close to the door where you entered as possible, especially on the later levels. Alright Guardians, once you deposit 3 offerings from the bottom, 3 offerings in the middle, and then 3 on the top level, it will be time for the final stand, the last chunk of the boss's health. Now you're going to want to keep your supers and a few rockets or linear fusion shots for this final phase. So instead of going from left to right in this kind of semicircle pattern, you're going to have to do damage on a small pathway in a straight line. So be sure to use your bubbles, wells, rifts, weakening grenades in generals, supers, heavy, just about everything you have. And again, if you're in the very front of the group, make sure you squat down so the people behind you don't rocket the back of your head. Once you do this final stand, you will either defeat the boss or you'll be starting over. However, with contest mode off, you absolutely got this. Now, I beat it with a team when all we had was supers and primary weapons, no heavy ammo left, so you absolutely got this. But yeah, that's it my friends, that is the Caretaker encounter. Thank you for watching, and I hope that this guide has taught you the entire fight and all positions. Now one reason I make raid guides is because most guides that you see early on are just streamers beating the encounter with no commentary. And if you learn from LFG or friends, usually you only learn one job, and it's hard to truly learn the big picture of a fight unless you go in during day 1 or you watch a complete guide, and that's what this is here for. While strats usually change in the months and years to come, this guide will still give you a complete look at the fight regardless of how old it is, and I hope that no matter when you view this, it will give you the answer you need. Thank you once again, and onward to our next video, part 3, the upended encounter. As for me, I'm out of here, compadres. Thank you so much for watching another Sly Nation Destiny 2 Vow of the Disciple raid guide. Spank the thumbs up or down if you liked, loved, or hated this video, and if you wish to get in touch, business or otherwise, feel free to hit me up anytime for any reason. SlyNationGaming67@gmail.com, or check me out over on the socials at Sly_Nation on Twitter, Sly Nation Gaming on good old Facebook. Email or Twitter is preferred. Take care, y'all, and thanks again. Subscribe for plenty more Destiny 2 Vow of the Disciple raid guides and secrets coming out here soon. But until then, this is your dude Sly, and I'll see you guys next time.